everyone. Welcome back to Un Poquito de Té, our podcast where we talk about anything and everything going on at Tufts.
Through our lens, of course. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Caro.
And this week, the next two episode rollouts are going to be a little bit different. So we're going to have Caro's segment for one episode and my segment for another episode, and let us know which method works best for y'all.
But today we're going to get started with my episode. So what I'm going to be talking about is just having a very open conversation with students from different grades here at Tufts about what their experience has been like so far being remote and with all the craziness going on surrounding this pandemic and just being a student in this time. So I hope you all really like it. And like we said, we're going to split up in two different sections. So you'll be able to watch mine and then later you'll be able to watch Ashley's.
Enjoy!
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming back to my segment of Un Poquito de Té. So for today, we have special guests and I'll let them introduce themselves in a minute. But basically, we're just gonna have a candid, open conversation about what the semester has been like. And we have people here from every grade to talk a little bit more about what it's been like to go to school in the time of COVID-19 and just the semester and how we're handling all this. So I'll let everyone introduce themselves and I'll start with Jessica, our senior.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm a senior studying clinical psychology and child development. What else am I supposed to say? I'm Dominican. That's nice. Fun fact, I like to cook a lot. And I made pastelitos yesterday, and they were fire. Even though I don't eat meat, but
she's become a chef, y'all. On social media, I've been seeing that stuff. A chef.
I only post almost never, but still, thank you. I appreciate it. But I guess that's my introduction. I don't know what else I was supposed to say.
No, that's great. Roy, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Roy. I'm a sophomore. I'm in the School of Engineering studying mechanical engineering. I'm also Dominican. Like Jess, I also do like to cook too. Maybe not as much as she does, but I love pastelitos too. Yeah, so being outside, outdoor stuff. I play all types of sports on my free time. And yeah.
Athlete. A chef and a cook, and a chef and an athlete. Angel, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello. My name's Angel. I'm from Durham, North Carolina. I'm a freshman, so I just got here, and I'm studying civil engineering. And I am very shocked that I made it this far. Because I have 2 brain cells inside my head, and sometimes they click and they make a coherent thought. Yeah, I'm very
sometimes happy. I can make a sentence.
Oh, I forgot where I said where I'm from. I'm from Bronx, New York, so shout out to all my uptown people who feel me.
Nice.
I'm from Boston. Just had to put it out there because I don't even hype it up that much, but it's great.
You really don't. I feel like I know you as being Tufts person more than a Boston person.
I'm just from Medford. Actually, I don't want to claim that.
I'm not jacking it.
I'm from Boston. Okay, I rep it. I support it. That's me. Great.
Yeah. And I'll be the junior on the call. So y'all mostly already know me if you're watching Un Poquito de Té. But I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I rep that very, very hard. And I'm also Mexican. And fun fact, Angel and my family are from the same part in Mexico, so the same state. And I think it's really hard to find people from our state because we're very south. So that was something really cute. But to get started, I just wanted to have a conversation about what the semester has been like for y'all. I think it's been, speaking for me personally, it's been very different and very hard. And I think we're all navigating what this looks like. We're all going through a pandemic for the first time, and we're all navigating all this. So what has that looked like? But also for our first year on the call, Angel, what has that been like coming into college? And because you don't know anything else, unlike me and Roy and Jess, and I mean Roy also unfortunately only had like a year, like half a year I guess of college being
Or
like
something, you know.
college. But we've known it as something different, and Angel is like your first time coming in. So yeah, if anyone just wants to chime in about what this semester has been like, and just but how are y'all doing? All that kind of stuff.
Oh, that jazz.
I mean, it is very like tiresome, like to
Mhm.
hop on a computer every day and like, do all these assignments and just not know generally how things work. It's very stressful. Like it's very new and like all this coupled together with like the college transition, it's all very overwhelming. But I feel like it's a very good test of like character and to see like what you're willing to like push yourself through and like what you're able to do in such hard, difficult times. So like although it has been very difficult and like for some maybe a little too overwhelming, I feel like the fact that so many of us have been able to get through the semester just shows that like, you know, we deserve to be here and that we deserve like everything that we have and everything that we earn. So like I don't know, I really try to look at things like optimistically speaking.
Mhm.
And I feel like this was probably one of the worst situations to like walk into. But I don't know. I still have hope. I still have hope that like we could learn from this and that the future like situations like these will be better.
Yeah. And as a follow up, do you feel like you've been able to like find community and like just find a place at Tufts, just coming into like what this world is like right now? I feel like I think something for me that was really important my first year was definitely like finding community with like the Latino Center, and like that community was really important. And I basically used to live there. Like my first year, like sometimes I would sleep there. Like I was always there. Um, and I think now it's something that I think is complicated even for me. Like I'm an intern and Jessica's an intern, and trying to figure out how to create that sense of community in like a virtual world basically. And not this doesn't just have to be specific to the Latinx community, but in general, like have you felt like you found community anywhere? Like how has that been?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm very privileged in the sense that I've met a lot of tough students before I got here. I was a part of the SES Noonan program, now called the Thrive program, where it's like 100 underrepresented or 100 FGLI students who are from all around the country, and they come together in Amherst, Massachusetts, nearby, and they spend a summer together learning calculus and writing for 6 weeks. So I met a lot of tough students through there. If you know them, there's Alex, there's Latida, there's David, there's Tammy, there's Rebecca, AJ, and I think there's a bunch of like Thrive scholars here on campus. So I was lucky enough to meet them, and I was also part of the best program here at Tufts. So once I got admitted, I was admitted into the best program, and I had a very strong community there. Even though everything was virtual, the best program being like the bridge program to get into Tufts. It's like 6 weeks. You learn calculus and you learn physics for engineers, and there's a accompanying blast program for arts and sciences students. So, I mean, I was very lucky. Like, I already had a very strong community. Like, I had these very strong ties. Like, I've cried with some of these people. I've gone through with some of these people. Like, they have seen me inside and out. So, I was very lucky that I was able to have that community already with like people who look like me and share the same experiences as me. But I will say I feel really bad for students who don't have those same opportunities. Like, how do you make friends in a virtual world? Like, I probably like haven't made that many new friends, if I'm being honest. Like, it's just so hard. You can't just like walk up to people or like walk down the street and then see like, oh hey, like I've seen you like 50 times this week. Like, let's be friends. It's very hard to
Yeah,
create that sort of spark.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It definitely is a challenge. I know coming into my first year, I mean, I did Beast, so I did the peer orientation. And that's definitely where I met a lot of people too. But I think also like orientation week, like being in person, like you meet a lot of people and like you connect with a lot of different people. And there's people that you still like to this day randomly see, and you're like, oh my God, I met that guy at orientation week. He said like this thing, and you never forget type of thing. So I think it definitely is really different, but I'm really happy to hear that you've been able to find some sort of community. Um, I don't know, Jess and Roy, if y'all want to talk a little bit about what the semester has been like for y'all, what you're feeling.
The semester, like for me, is I think I know for all of us it's been tough. I think something for me that's been really tough is like the asynchronous classes. Yo, oh my God. Asynchronous classes should not, I'd rather take the Zoom. I'd rather take the synchronous Zoom. Because honestly, they like, for asynchronous, they like assign the lecture videos and then you have to watch them. And it takes so long to watch all of them because they just be like, wow, and just violating. And then you got to do the work they assign on top of that. And sometimes you can't even do the work they assign without watching the lecture videos. So there like be times in the week where like I do like 6 hours of straight chem. Like I watch like 3 hours of lecture videos just to do the 3 hour problem set, and I do that back to back. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot. And like since I'm taking 5 classes this semester and 3 of them are asynchronous, so like this semester just been like, woo! Like, literally, it has been a ride. Like, I felt like I've probably had a test every week or every other week at least this whole semester. With you, like
Honestly,
classes.
like I feel like hats off to you, because if I had asynchronous classes, I'd be like, this is my free time. I'm gonna watch Netflix instead. Like I would not be able to do asynchronous classes because like I feel like kind of like you said, like I prefer having that structure of when I'm supposed to be there, because
Yeah,
I feel like if I then have to make time to watch these videos, I'd be like, I'm gonna watch Netflix.
I'd
You know,
rather
so
be there so bad.
I feel
I
like that's
wish.
so like I'm like, wow, you have, yeah, like go off. I would. It sounds like as hard as it is, you're doing it.
We're here somehow. We persevere. You know. I think for me another hard part for this semester is again like meeting or not meetings, because I felt like freshman year I really took advantage and like tried to meet as much as many new people I could. So like I did focus, and I love focus. I just staffed it this summer virtually, and I applied to be cohort. So hopefully that happens. But yeah, so I like literally I would go to I was in focus and I just met as many people as I could. And then even during O week, I would like there was one time there was like a group of people in my common room. I lived in Metcalf, and it was like O week, and I didn't know these people at all. And I was like, oh, what are they doing? I literally walked in. I was like, hey, my name is Roy. And they're like, oh my God, hi. And then they all introduced their names, and then I learned their names in like 2 minutes, and then I recited it back to them, and they were impressed. And I was like, hi, hello, hi, friends. And then that was great. So, and then I was really good with names freshman year, and so like I knew a lot of
That's got
people.
everybody be named like Matt, Sarah, Jay. Like you just got the same
Yeah, I
variation, you
know.
know?
I ain't gonna lie. I know like maybe like 4 Mayas, a lot of Olivias. I like love them all, but like it's just it is what it is.
Remembering names on this campus is like high key kind of hard. I try my best, and like typically I get it, but I need to like bump into you a couple times before that's the case.
Yeah.
Don't ask
You know what?
if we have a class together though.
I don't know if Res Life did it this year, but like literally last year, Res Life had a field day with names. Literally, they put all the Mayas together. Literally, I have in my focus group there was a Maya. She was my full sibling, and then her roommate was also named Maya. And now her roommate became like my best friend. But like literally, they put 2 Mayas together, and then that was one set of Mayas in Metcalf, and then there was another set of Mayas in the Metcalf too. They put 2 sets of Mayas in the same dorm.
Same name, they might get along.
It was bro. A field day.
I don't know. I guess like I've been here for like 3 years. So in terms of like socially adjusting, like of course, like I've had the experiences to like meet my housemates who I love and I care about a bunch. Shout out
I love them
to
too.
Melissa, Sophia, if y'all are watching.
Word.
But like I'm
the big
grateful that I had that. And also just like had the chance to meet first years as well, before the whole pandemic hit and all that stuff. And even just having the opportunity to be an LPL and meeting first years that are coming in right now. Like, I love it and it's great. In terms of academics, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like my motivation has been really, really low. And part of it, like, of course, like online classes, like you're sitting down in front of a computer. I can easily just like grab my phone and start looking at my phone while you're lecturing about something that I don't understand. And then at the same time, there's like, what else? Besides not having the motivation, it's like, I need a break. And especially like it being my senior year, I know I need a break. I'm like, I've been doing too much. I need like to rest.
And grinding for so long.
Exactly. So I'm just like, nope, this is not it. And this is actually like my first semester doing virtual classes. Because I was abroad last semester and they sent me back in March. I was like, damn, just leave me there. But you know, so grateful for that experience. So definitely like new for me to do this whole like virtual thing. And like I remember having conversations with my friends and they're like, yeah, like this isn't like, it's easy in terms of like, okay, like if I'm studying for my exams, like I at least have access to my notes. For some people, because some professors are like, oh, let's proctor you this. Like, excuse me, if the notes are there, just let us use it. What's the point? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway. Yeah. Just to call them out. I'll call them out a little bit more later, but like just to call them out for that right now. Yeah, so yeah, I just academia. But yeah, it's been kind of just like, you know, I'm just going with the waves. I don't really know what direction it's taking me, but hoping for the best and trying to stay positive, as Angel said. Like that's really all we can do right now, because things are so uncertain.
Yeah, I'm glad that you got at least part of the abroad experience. I was supposed to be abroad this semester, and like coping with the fact that I was gonna be able to do that, like I was so, just because, you know, being like first gen low income, like we don't get these opportunities, so like being able to travel on like Tufts money, like I'm like yes. And you know, not yeah, but I might have other plans for senior fall. So.
I'm sorry.
But anyways, yeah, so I think that I'm thinking about my senior fall, but also like Jessica, to touch back with you about like senior year, like I was like, what is this year like? I think also like you also have to cope with a lot of things about like missing out as a senior and stuff like that, you know, like it's supposed to be like your senior year of college, and like what has that been like? And I guess like even thinking forward about like what graduation might look like and stuff like that, like how are you thinking about these things? Are you putting that off? Like just yeah.
I'm praying graduation happens. I'm praying because it's like, especially as a first gen student, like this is literally what you've been preparing for. Like people have been telling you since your youth, like you need to graduate from college, like get your bachelor's degree. Yeah. So I am praying that graduation happens and that things like maybe a vaccine comes out, even though I don't trust, so I might not take it. But like I'm praying that graduation happens. It is something that you're like, oh, like imagine how my senior year would have been like if COVID weren't a thing. And things like there would have been senior bar nights, there would have been like more events. Maybe I would have actually met people from my class besides the people that I already know. But even then, like I'm still grateful again that like I'm surrounded by people that I care about, and like even if they're not like in person, I don't see them like every day, like I'm at least happy that like I can get on a phone call and I can talk to them. Like there are alternatives and I'm grateful for those alternatives. And like yeah, no senior bar nights, but like who says I can't have a bar night in my room? Like that's fine. So there's like we've just had to get more creative, and I feel like that's making our senior year a lot more memorable because we're literally creating the experiences ourselves instead of it being like, oh, Tufts put on this event, like pull through. It's like, no, this entire house put on an event for ourselves. Don't
just cause like,
don't pull through.
Don't pull through, but like we're creating those memories for ourselves, which I think is really nice. It's like really cute to like look back at this, I feel. So
I'll be seeing like Jess's story and Melissa and Shanshan's story. I'm like, damn, I wish I could be there right now. Because literally, like, like I'm so like thankful like I got to meet like so many like not just first years, but like I got really close with like sophomores, like Caro, like Jess, Melissa, and Sunshine. Like I view of like literally like my older sisters here at Tufts. So like literally like Melissa and like all of them like always been there for me, and then like I'm so grateful for that. And then even like when it came, also like Jesse, who's unfortunately not here, he's probably sleeping. I'm not gonna lie. And then like Eric, who's also the president, and Encendido, like Derek, just those like Matthew, like just like those guys just like been older and always watched out for me. So like I so grateful for that. And like coming into this semester, like I wanted to do that too, but like just because of like the physical like limitations of interactions been hard because like the like those people I met through like Encendido or going to the LC, and that's where like we first met and like built our connection. Like I've like me and Caro became friends because we sledded together down the hill in LC, and then we're gonna continue our tradition, Caro. Don't worry. We're gonna. And then, but like since because of COVID, I haven't been to the LC as much as I used to, like last semester, and so like I haven't met that many first year Latinx students, which like I'm kind of sad about. But I know like in the future, I'll get the opportunity, and so it's just something to deal with.
Yeah. No, yeah, Roy and I sled together, and that's we decided to make that a tradition that every winter we would sled together down the LC, like little hill between the LC and Capen, you know? That was my first time sledding, also fun fact.
Mine too. It was so fun.
Wow, yeah.
A road?
What'd you say?
Doesn't it lead out to like a road? Like that little hill?
Anyway.
They put a fence though now, I think, so we're fine.
No, but we were on the other side. But we like just like we it just kind of I think God wanted us to
enough friction.
Because we like just yeah, we just naturally like stopped at the sidewalk before the road.
Yeah.
So imagine if the bus, because it was right in front of where the bus stop is at. So imagine
that's true.
Could have been pretty bad.
I'm glad y'all are okay.
It was a great time. 10 out of 10. I would do again.
Yeah. Speaking of good memories, does anyone have any like great memories they've made during this time? I mean, I know Jessica talked a little bit about her little coho bar night at her house. But I think like Jessica said, like I think that while we are living in this like current world, there are a lot of different ways we can still make memories and connect with people. I don't know if anybody has had any really fun experiences or figured out other ways to like be like safe and fun at the same time.
Y'all were talking about hills, and I automatically thought about something that happened last week. Cause like Sunshine and I, like we talk about like, oh, we're gonna do one risky thing every week, like at least one risky thing. And I didn't do it that time. I'm telling you. And basically the risky thing of last week was to roll down the hill of like Ren. You know the one where like where it's like you're in front of Coho and then like Ren is right there.
Yeah.
So it was
the hill behind Ren.
That's a steep hill. So that's what they did. And like I have recordings and they're literally the most hilarious.
I saw that. That was funny. I was like, wow.
I feel like that's a video that I'm gonna look back and be like, wow. Damn, we were really doing it. But that's like one memory.
When I recall is like we like got the zip, like I rented a zip. It was like at night, and then like Jess, Melissa, Sunshine, we all like just hopped in and like went driving around. It was just so much fun. And then like one time it was just me and Sunshine, and like it was like 1 a.m. or like 12. It was like late. Yo, we drove to Donald's. We got a McFlurry, yo, and we were just blasting Whoopty. Oh my god, what a great time. It was like, yo, the McFlurry, and then she ordered, the McDonald's cookies. You can't go wrong with the warm. They were fresh out the oven too. The warm, fresh out the oven McDonald's cookies. Yo, top 5 moments of the semester. and then we're just blasting we're in the parking lot, and then we just blast music as we ate our McDonald's,
Aw, it's so
and then we
cute.
drove back.
I like that. I love that.
Late night drives, they're the thing.
I feel like late night drives are
Mhm.
one of my favorite things about college. Like when I had friends that had zip cars, especially my first year, I had more like friends that had zip cars, and they would like take me places at night when I was feeling low. They were like,
Yeah.
"You wanna go to McDonald's?" I was like, "Yes."
Let's go to McDonald's. Driving
Y'all
through Davis
drive
is so
everywhere?
fun.
Must be
Well,
nice. I
I
just
don't have my license, so people drive me. You know, I get driven places.
It's okay. I didn't have my license my first year either, so like this is all new for me too in terms of driving.
Listen,
Yo, rotaries suck. I
road-
don't care if that's a hot take. Hot take. Yo, rotaries suck, and then they only exist in Mass. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like that don't. I'm from New York. We don't got rotaries. I don't know about everyone else, but we don't do this. We don't do this ring around stuff.
this isn't the state you want to drive in.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, two streets are too narrow. This is why I've had my license for like 2 years and I'm barely driven because I
The
just
streets are so narrow because they were made for horse carriages, not cars. They were made at the time when there was horse carriages, and they were like, "Yeah, we just need like this much space." And I'm
Let's
like,
just pave them. Let's not reorient them or anything. It's just, well,
and then it's a two-way. That's the thing that gets me.
two-way narrow. Yo, oh my God, I seen like cars parked on sidewalks because of it.
They'll have like cars parked here, cars parked there. Oh, it's still a two-way. I'm like, no, it's not. Like you can't even.
There's no space.
No.
And mass drivers just drive faster in residential areas than what I'm used to. In New York, like at least in the Bronx, like it's posted like 25 is the limit. They go like 35, 40 in these low residential areas. They don't care. I like watched a TikTok about it. It was like a mass guy. It was like 3 things mass people hate, and it was like the Yankees, people out of state drivers, and yeah, and like when he was explaining out of state drivers, like, yeah, none of you know how to use a rotary. I'm like, duh, they don't exist anywhere else.
anyway, I mean, don't worry, Angel. I'll get my license over winter break, and then I could take you places.
I can take you places. Where you want to go? We go to McDonald's.
I don't know, away from here.
I can take you places you've never been before.
I literally, like, the farthest I've been is probably like Boston. Like and I've only ever been like 3 times, and it was to go to a Target that wasn't even open. We were like an hour away to go to a Target, and then we found out like it wasn't even open. It wasn't even closed or open. It was just under construction. It was so humiliating. We went up to like some guy and we were like, "Yo, like, where's the Target?" And he said like it doesn't exist
close,
yet.
Bro.
There's so many Targets nearby.
Yeah.
Like,
have you been to the Fells yet?
I haven't been to the Fells.
We should. The Fells is so nice. Literally, there's like an area just for dogs, and it was like dog heaven. And I went there, and I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing.
You know they have a dog fair.
They have a dog fair?
Yeah, I went last year, and was it last year? Yeah, I went last year. Cutest thing ever. So all the dogs from like Medford, Somerville, like so cute.
That's so
Oh my God, I'm going to that.
I don't know about that. Dogs scare me. Dogs.
You can get over your fear.
Wait, Angel,
going back I'll help you.
What have been your highlights of your first year or first semester?
Highlights? Probably like the saddest memories. I don't know. Like, I guess going through it with friends is pretty fun. Like, I remember one time I had a chemistry exam. Like, I had a chemistry exam Friday, and it was like Thursday night. I was hanging out with this girl named Bushra, and we were just vibing. We were just on Pres Lawn. We were just, soaking up the moment before, we get that 50. And we were like, what would be fun? You know what would be fun? What if we just like went to Davis, at midnight before a chemistry exam that we didn't even study for? And so she was like, yeah, why don't we? Like, we should go right now. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want dumplings. Let's just go walk. Because all the shuttles were gone, right? And the T was closed. Let's walk to Davis Square.
It's a nice walk, though.
And like 3 a.m., I think. It was 3 a.m. And we walked over there. So, like, I don't know, not even like we weren't even scared of anything. We were just like, you know what? We were just fueled on pure vibes. and we saw it was like right before Halloween. So there were like all these skeleton decorations, and there exists this photo of like me like
Spooky.
having tea with like these skeletons. Like these, I think I went into some random like person's backyard. I like snuck in and I sat down because they had like a table and then two skeletons like sipping tea, and I'm there in the middle like sipping tea with them. And I was like, you know what, this is a happy memory. I think this is a memory that I will store away. And I remember I tried to like, yeah, I was trying to get one of the skeletons to like hug me. Like I tried to put their arms over my shoulders, and then I cracked it, and then we just ran. We heard that crack, and we dipped like roaches. We scrambled.
I mean, I hope nobody from the neighborhood is still searching for you and be like, I want like un poquito de té. Like I wonder if I can find my.
It's okay. They were appropriating my culture, my skinny culture.
Look at you. You already have it planned in your head. You're like, I know exactly what to say if they find me.
He said, hold up, he said. Anyways.
Wait, are you taking Chem 1?
Yes.
Same.
That is the only chemistry I plan to take ever. I hate chemistry so much.
I like, for me, like, I have to do a lot of physics, obviously. Well, you also, if you want to do civil, you'd be doing a lot of physics. And, like, I don't like physics at Tufts. Like, it was just, like the teachers, like, the professors, like, I just essentially taught myself physics even N12 by myself. So that wasn't fun. Now I'm in chem. I'm like, do you have Krytov?
Yes. Sergey?
Yeah. We consider ourselves lucky, okay? Because literally anyone who took chem last year was like, it was bad. Like Krytov, like he's a good teacher, but like the tests would be much harder than what they are now. And literally like the tests would be longer. Like we have our 1 hour exams on my lab. Yo, it used to be bad. Like I like talked to my friends about chem and like and they already took it with Krytov before, and they're like, I hate you. Like you're so lucky. Like literally. So like it's still a lot of work because like it is an asynchronous class, and his lecture videos like sometimes you know what I'm talking about, right? Like you go and it's like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. And literally, like, some of them got 5 parts, 5 to 6 parts, and we have to watch all of them to even like be remotely prepared for like the problem sets. So
No,
like,
I don't know.
it's not fun.
Your year. Oh, sorry.
What?
I don't know if it happened your year, but my year when people took chem with Krytov, bro.
You hear the stories.
A huge line in Hodge of people leaving the exam, like literally in tears because it was so hard.
Yeah.
Like it's not cute. Like yeah, y'all got lucky because when I tell you, you would feel the weight of the chem exam across the entire campus.
Yeah, like the people leaving, like the plays, and you could just and like having friends that you know they're gonna take it, and then you like know you feel like the vibes are so like somber and like. But speaking about classes,
it's a big class.
Yeah, it is a big class. But what is something that you wish like professors like knew and understood about this time? I feel like sometimes professors are taking advantage of the fact that we're just sitting in our rooms all day, but like I feel like there's a lot that they don't understand that comes with sitting in your room all day. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Go
ahead before I like.
I have one thing. They should know, if you make a 40-minute lecture video, it will take a person at least an hour to take good notes of a 40-minute lecture video. Mm-hmm. Take that to account, professors. Stop assigning 3 40-minute lecture videos for one class. You're bugging. Stop. I'm not with it at all. That's not sanctioned.
My thing is, just because classes are online does not mean they're easy.
Yeah.
Classes aren't meant to be online. You don't learn. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one thing that I feel like that's why professors like, oh, it's easy, so I can assign more work. No. Oh, it's easy. I don't need to adjust my syllabus. No. You need to adjust because one, you need to make your lectures more interesting if we're taking courses online. Like, we're not in person. Like, I can literally just mute myself. I could put a background that makes it seem like it's me and it's not me. Like, I can avoid paying attention in your class. Not that I do it, because I actually enjoy my classes this semester. But like that's the one thing, is like, just because they're online doesn't mean they're easier. So you need to adjust. I know that like it's also an adjustment for them. Like I won't ignore that. Like some of them, like they're still trying to figure out how to work Zoom and like do all these things. But that doesn't mean that you can't try, or at least attempt to like find middle ground with your students. And I feel like that's one thing that I haven't seen a lot, especially when I'm speaking to like my friends about their courses. It doesn't make it easier just because it's online, especially when you're like, don't use your notes for your exams. Like what is that? Especially for asynchronous classes.
Yeah. But shout out to the professors who do understand. Like specifically, I want this professor this semester has a special place in my heart. Shout out to Professor Hoda. Anyone taking ME20? Yo, bless her heart. Literally, she like her like main focus is literally when she says she wants us to learn, she wants us to learn. Like she gives us like 5 days to do an exam. This semester she's like literally like if you need an extension, ask, like go for it. Like no questions asked, you'll get it. And she's just like, let me know, and like it's fine. Like literally she's been like so understanding and perfect, and like made like at least her class like bearable. Like she makes it perfect. Like literally I'm learning what I need to learn, and I'm not like too stressed out about it, like with like injunction with everything else that's going on. So like literally I've like asked for an extension, and like she's like, yep, and then I get them time and due in time, and like yeah. So shout out to her.
Oh, we love that. And Angel, I think you've been trying to say something too.
Oh, I just wanted to take y'all through a journey, a whole journey. So like, so my first week, I was like, I'm really invested in like this one class, right? I'm very passionate about it. But then I was walking my friend David. David is amazing. Shout out to David. He's really cool. I went to his class. I walked him to class, like first day of school. I was like, oh my God, I feel like such a proud dad. Like I'm just walking my little boy to school, and yeah, backpack and like, anyways. So I went to go drop him off, but he was very like shy because it was like the first day of class. He was like, oh, I don't want to meet the professor. We're like 10 minutes early. And I was like, if you're 5 minutes early, then you're on time. If you're on time, then you're late, and if you're late, then you're fucked. Like that whole mentality of me. So I was like, no, don't be intimidated. Like the professor's really nice, I swear. So I went up to the professor, and I was like, oh, like, hi, my name's Angel. My friend's David. He's out there. He's outside. I just wanted to say hi. And then we had like a 5-minute talk, and she convinced me to take her class. Like I started taking that class. I joined because of that like 5 minute. Like that's how cool she was. And so there were like these two classes, right? I could only pick one. And I was like, this one class is like really hard, and I don't feel safe. This other class, I had like two of my best friends in it. Like the professor's really nice, the connections are there. Like like an engineer who actually works in the industry like teaches it, and also the head of the engineering department for I think it was civil engineering. She teaches there. So it was like this class full of opportunities, and this other class which seems hard. Like I don't know anyone, and so I was debating. I was like, which one do I take? And which one do you think I took?
The hard one. For no reason.
I know. And for what? And for what? I did all that, and for what? And so I took the harder one, which has caused a few issues. This one I'm thinking about this project specifically. So I made this little. It was like make a toy, and I made this little paletero man. It was so cute. It was this little like whole idea of like y'all know what the paletero is, right? So like I made a little toy, and it was supposed to be like this little man, right? And he had like he had a bunch of sticks that he could hold, and then what you could do is that you could take the popsicles almost like a sleeve, and then it, like change the flavor by changing the popsicle sleeves. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
this is like a whole concept, right? This is a whole concept, right? And you had this little cart where like all the toys could be stored in, like the sticks and the sleeves. So you could like hold the stick. So he holds the stick, you can switch out like popsicles and like get different colors. It was really, really cute. And I put so much effort into this. I like talked about like the issue of like undocumented people and the issue of like gentrification in Chicago. Like I touched a lot of topics, and I put a lot of passion into it. and like we were presenting, right? And I was very excited. I was very passionate, and there was this one project that like I was very interesting, I guess. It was a few weeks ago, and the project was like the prompt was create a toy, and this person and their partner, they made a cop car. They made a recreation of TUPD, the car, and they added lights to it. And I remember they were asked like, oh, what was your project? And they said, oh, we made a recreation of TUPD. And everyone started laughing. Everyone thought that was funny, and I was like, what is funny about that? Like, I don't find this funny. And of course, like, read my eyes, like, you already know what the class is filled with, you already know what the class looked like. So I was like, oh, like, of course they're gonna laugh. It's like, they don't have to like worry for their lives. So it was very like, it was a very revealing moment. Everyone started laughing. I was like, what are you guys laughing at? Like, what's so funny? And so they went up to present this cop car, and the professor was really impressed. And I was like, I don't know, it was just a very like interesting moment. Like, I created this project that I was very passionate about, and the group that created the cop car, to my understanding, I think like they received like a perfect score. Mine didn't score as highly, and I just remember like being frustrated, I guess, of like the outcome. But of course, I couldn't say anything. I didn't want to make the situation awkward. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like of a lot of things that like that just there's so much there to like unpack and talk about. And like, I mean, first and foremost, like acknowledging that like we're living through a pandemic, but the rest of the world has not stopped. And like over the summer we've just seen like how much like shit has gone on, and like how much like our communities are still very much like suffering, not only because of COVID-19, but like on top of everything like that's already happening, because like COVID-19 is just like worsening everything, and I think it's just really hard, especially as like a first year, like to come into a class and do something that you're really passionate about, and to kind of feel like that wasn't centered as much as I feel like it should have, or it seems like it was, like I think that definitely, I just remember like my own first year classes and having experiences like that, and how that does take a toll on me like for the remaining of my like time here, just because then I continuously like question myself and stuff like that. But I think that's like, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that like brings up a lot of very important things that are also happening right now outside of what we're like living, like outside of the fact that like we're living through a pandemic, but the world hasn't stopped, like like it hasn't stopped for anybody, unfortunately. And we just have to keep like like dealing with a lot of this stuff and things like that. Yeah, but I don't know, did you talk, like how did you, I guess, like how did you manage with all of that, like after that class? Like were you able to like talk to people about it? And like
Yeah. Well, like throughout high school, I had many similar experiences where I felt like my voice wasn't, um, I guess, listened to, or my voice wasn't like appreciated when I would like really put my effort into things.
mhm,
And I really wanted to stop that habit, because I felt like coming to college, like I could change things. I could genuinely make a difference. And so I remember like trying to go up to the professor. It was Indigenous Students Day, or not Indigenous Student. It was Indigenous Peoples Day, and I went up to the professor, and I just decided to like have a very like um, very thoughtful conversation about Indigenous students here on campus, and the issues that I saw regarding Tufts, which there are many. And I talked to the professor, and I was like, yo, like, did you know that there are like allegedly like three Indigenous students in the School of Engineering, or like, I think in the entire School of Engineering, there are like three Indigenous students. And I started talking about like, yeah, did you know this issue that was going on campus, this issue that was going on campus? They don't have a space. They don't have, there's not a lot of like Indigenous studies classes. I think there isn't one that's recognized. There's just a lot of like issues surrounding like Indigenous students and a lack of representation. And this professor, like, they didn't really have much of a reaction, and like they were very, I don't know, not dismissive. They just didn't really like engage as much. And I remember like one of the things they said was like, oh, when I brought up the issue that like, oh, there's only like three Indigenous students, and they're like, oh, like I didn't know that. And like that just shocked me. I was like, really, like you've worked here, you've been here longer than I have. Like you work here, and you're like a very prominent person in administration, and you didn't know that there's like this few Indigenous students. And they asked me like, oh, how'd you figure this out? And I literally said like, oh, you just Google like Tufts diversity, and it's like the first link. And I was just remember like feeling so shocked because I was like administration really doesn't know even the most bare bone like how few students of color there is, or like I was
Yeah.
like, the fact that you don't know this very basic like statistic was just very appalling to me. And I don't know, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, oh my god, like what do you say to that?
Mhm. Yeah. And I think this goes back to like the ways that we're continuing to live in Tufts as it is, you know, like as students, as like students of color, we continue to like live through like Tufts. Like, you know, like COVID-19 came, and for many people, like that's what it's become. But like for many other of us that like have other realities and have always had these realities, it isn't something that like is just like this new hardship. It's like an added thing to like our experiences already being at Tufts, you know. And I think that's something that it's been really hard to be able to support like students when things like this happen, because, and I think from my perspective also being on Senate, it just feels like everything is revolving around COVID-19 and like what we're going to do about COVID-19 and like, you know, like all these things, which is very valid, but there's still other issues going on in our community specifically, in like BIPOC communities, that they're kind of just like pushed aside or like are left not, like, you know, like not made to be as important right now, when they are very important. And there are things like this happening in the classroom, and trying to figure out how to continue to support students in that aspect. And I know, Jessica, you've been trying to say some stuff too.
One, like, Angel, thanks for sharing that. Um, of course, like I say this a lot to people that I care about and like people that I meet, but if there's any time that you ever want to chat or like talk about anything, like I'm here. So feel free. Another thing is just, I think it's particularly hard when, as Caro was mentioning, all these things that are going on besides COVID, and having to feel the need to explain yourself. And that's what tends to happen when you're interacting with professors. This like need, I need to explain to you why I need an extension. I need to explain to you why I can't do this work, or why this made me feel uncomfortable. And that's tiring. And it's not okay. Like, we shouldn't be questioned for why we're asking for certain things. Like, if someone lies, that's on their conscience. Like, that's on their conscience. If they lied, that's on them. But it shouldn't be a constant, like, we need to explain to you why we need certain things, why we can't afford a book, why we can't get these certain things. And it's very sad, to just like think about the fact that like you see me face front, and if I'm like reaching out to you personally, and like when I'm looking is for like some sort of like like not even sympathy or empathy, because that doesn't really help, but at least some sort of like support, and it's not there. um it's just a very hard thing to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Nobody should have to go through that. But of course, when you go to a predominantly white institution where they assume that every kid has the same experience, even though they do not, um, a lot of things just seem uniform for professors or for faculty members, administration. It's like everybody's going through the same thing. They're just students. There's more to just being a student. We have lives outside of that, and some of those lives are very, very hard. And we shouldn't have to explain that to you. So that's like part of what I wanted to say, building off of what you mentioned, because that's one example of many on this campus of situations like that, or situations similar to that have happened, and it's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But especially with COVID, it's just,
Yeah.
it's been more evident.
And I think something along those lines that Ashley mentioned in the chat too, that's like, I think is really important too, and goes along with what I was saying before, that like when something impacts the whole school, like we're like admin is acting, like, you know, but like now that COVID-19 is happening, like all of a sudden professors seem to be way more understanding, which like makes a lot of sense and is very valid, because COVID-19 is impacting so many students. But like all these other issues that impact a lot of like BIPOC communities every day outside of that, like especially thinking about like Black and Indigenous students who are like impacted by things like every day, and like having to explain like all these things to professors, or like their lack of understanding of like why different issues going on are so like impactful, and why I can't like turn this assignment in, this, like why students can't do that, is like very disheartening, that all of a sudden, like now that we're all impacted, like that, like when I needed that understanding, you couldn't provide that to like any like student of color before, because there wasn't a pandemic going on, because they don't understand that our whole lives have been shaped by a lot of different experiences that are very impactful.
I would like to add to like I brought this issue up like that I brought up that moment with one of my mentors, and she is like a very prominent person here at Tufts, and so I like after I brought it up, a few I think about like a few days later, my professor, the one who like made those comments, she like reached out and she was like, hey, like I'd like to talk to you after class, and like I thought I was getting in trouble or something, and so I remember I went to class. I showed up late because I was with my calc professor, and he speaks a lot, so he didn't stop, and so I showed up late to my class, and I was like, oh my god, like I've been asked to be like seen after class, and I'm late, like I'm gonna be murdered, like it's gonna be on site, and so I stay after class, and my professor, she actually like apologizes. They say that like, oh, like I'm really sorry, like that I maybe didn't seem like I had much of a reaction. I apologize, da, 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 da. And like I don't know, it was a very like I don't even know how to describe it other than like weird, because it was like the first time that someone like took accountability for how like this issue that like affected me, like they actually took accountability and they actually reached out, and they like they told me like, yeah, like if there are ever any other issues that you'd like to discuss, like I'd love to be more engaged, I love to be more knowledgeable, and so this professor has been working a lot to make improvements like inside and out of the classroom to be more inclusive of like my voice and the voice of people who like aren't as represented. So I really appreciated that, but I feel like I don't know what would have happened if I didn't say it, and so if I didn't like bring this, if I just kept it inside me, like I don't know if that would have happened, if I didn't tell people. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it really does help to like expose Tufts in a way and like tell everyone like the issues that are going on, because I feel like that's how we bring about change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Unfortunately, we have to start wrapping up soon. Um, but I mean, I enjoyed talking to all of you. I don't know if y'all have any last things you want to say, any last tea you want to spill. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of y'all have anything you want to say. I mean, I think on my part, like, I'm just really grateful that y'all took the time to come talk to me and share a little bit about what the semester has been. Jessica, I don't know if you have something to say. Roy, Angel.
Only thing is stay safe, y'all. Please. Take care of yourselves, prioritize yourselves before anything else. Academics can't get done if you're not okay. You're just like things that you want to get done won't get done if you're not feeling well. So please put yourselves first when you can and if you can, because you matter right now. You are the main priority. So please take care of yourselves if you can.
Yes, 100%. Thank you so much for that, Jessica. If no one has anything else to say, then I think we will log off. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming and talking about their experiences, whether they were like great experiences or maybe not that great experiences. We loved hearing all of it. And I hope, like Jessica said, you all take care of yourself and power through the remaining of the semester, and then take a well-deserved break over winter break, because I think we all deserve it and we all need it. And yeah, stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much for coming.
Wow, Caro, that was such an amazing episode. The speakers were amazing, and professors really do be like, it's hard. It's really hard doing school during COVID.
No, I'm really grateful for our speakers. They were great, and getting to hear their perspectives on what the semester has been like. But now we're gonna move on to abracitos. So thank you for everyone who submitted them. We're so excited. Ashley, do you want to go ahead and give us our
Yes. Yes. So our first abracito is to Trang. And this person is giving you an abracito for taking the treacherous walk to O Ave every week with me. So I hope you feel that abracito.
From afar. And then our next abracito is actually for our very own Ashley Gomez. So cute. For being a great human being and a person that always makes me feel warm and loved. I really miss seeing her in person, and I will miss them deeply after graduating from Tufts. Que Dios te bendiga mucho y sigue volando a las estrellas. That's so cute. And I
That's
echo
so
everything
sweet.
in there. You're such a great human being. She's such a great human being, y'all.
Thank you so much.
I think that's all we have for my segment today. Thank you all so much. And don't forget to tune in to the second half of this episode where Ashley is going to be doing her amazingness.
Yes,
So,
and I will be joined by Kiara Alexa, so be on the lookout for that next episode. Bye,
yes.
y'all.